My name is Joshua Rivera. I'm 24 years old. I was born and raised in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I'm currently a manager at Sunrise Senior Living, a retirement community for elderly. And this is Dance Mogul. I was raised with my sister and my mom by herself. So you can imagine it was not a great childhood, but it was the best that my mom could create for me and my sister. She was the best mother in the world to me. My mom was like my father, so to speak, half mother, half father, which a lot of single parents out there are doing, especially now in our time, our generation. There's a lot more single mothers at a young age. So that's my uprising. Turning point in my life, I want to say, is when I was almost murdered at a young age, around 15 years old, because of things I was involved in at that age. That defining moment where God blessed me and then gave me a second chance in life is where I never took it for granted. And ever since then, I use that memory, that experience, that day as a factor to push myself harder each and every day, to constantly thank God that He gave me another day of breathing, another day to see this beautiful world. So I'm definitely blessed, but at the same time, I don't take for granted for everything I've been through, my experience in my life at a young age, and I'm really humbled for the fact that what happened to me. And a lot of people in my age or in the streets, so to speak, they don't get that second chance. Usually it's the one opportunity, and they either go to jail or they die. And very few chances we get that second chance. And since I was given to it, not by choice, but by luck or whatever you want to call it, by God's decision, I knew that I was not going to make a second mistake. I knew I was not going to go back to what I was doing and ruin my life even further. I ruined my mom's life since she gave up. She sacrificed so much for me to be better than what I was doing at that point.
How did you transition, from the negativity to the positivity to reach your current success?
I want to say the good thing about me when I was young, and is I would always read books. I remember I used to steal my mother's credit card to purchase books online. A lot of people would steal money from their parents, or if they have done at a young age, to buy certain things. My thing was books. So at a very young age, I realized that I saw these guys wearing business suits, ties, driving nice cars, and I was like, man, what's the difference between me and them? And that me asking that question always bothered me, because in reality there is no difference. I couldn't blame my environment for defining matter of me becoming successful or not becoming successful. I couldn't blame that I didn't have a father in my life to again define what I was going to be or what I was not going to be. So me always asking that question to myself, why can't I be them, is what drove me to experience a lot more, explore, read a lot of different books. I was reading books that I didn't understand at the age of 13, 14, 15 years old. But I knew that if this certain person who I idolized, or that people idolize, as a Warren Buffett or Abraham Lincoln or John Maxwell, or these great writers and leaders or businessmen, I was like, I want to do what they're doing. If I want to be them, I have to do things that they're doing. I can't do the normal things that I'm used to doing, playing games, running around, hanging out with friends, which I did a lot of at a young age. But I think God gave me an opportunity to really change the momentum of where I was going. Also to how I got here in my position where I'm at now at my age. It was not an easy decision. It was either college, I stay in college, or I go full-time training. I was given an opportunity to train as a business manager, human resource manager at my first job in Sunrise, which was located in Mountainside. And my mentor, who was my executive director, Lisa, gave me the opportunity. She saw the books I was reading every week. Every time I worked, which was Saturday and Sundays, answering phones, she saw the books I was reading, and she was saying that you're interested in business, and I said, I definitely am. So she presented an opportunity. Do you want to train to be a business manager and at the same time as a human resource manager? And I said yes. So I had to go home and really think hard to myself, was I going to stay in school full-time or follow my heart? So really what I thought about was, a lot of kids are going to school creating this massive debt, taking loans out to go to schools, 50, 80, $100,000, and then getting out of school, not having a job. And that really scared me, so to speak. It wasn't as serious as it was in the later 2000s, 2006, 2007, 2008. But I saw something told me, my intuition. So I followed my gut. And I went against what my mother was telling me not to do, my family, my friends, everyone that cared for me was telling me I was making the wrong mistake, that I was not thinking thoroughly. I wasn't thinking about my future. But in all, I was following my heart. And that one decision has protected me from creating this massive debt of going to school, because I would have graduated in 2008 if I would have stood in school full time. And in 2008, as you know, the economy of what happened. So I was actually blessed and lucky, and I thank God that I didn't follow what everyone else was telling me. So sometimes in life, you have to follow your heart and just go with what your intuition or what your gut is telling you, even if it's against the people that love you the most. But 9 out of 10, if you follow your heart, even if I would have failed, I could have said that, you know what, I followed my heart. And nowadays, you really don't hear that much of those things. People are more afraid of do things, afraid to take risks because of the consequences. But a lot of the great leaders in our past, Albert Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, they made decisions, they took risks, and they were rewarded. And they rewarded millions of people. I mean, every single one of those people I just mentioned, changed people's lives. And it's because of the risk they took that people said that you should not do it, and they went against it and they did it. So that, for me, is what defined my moment of where I'm at today. And also the blessings of my mentors, who, by the way, was all females. Growing up in an all-female family, I took more, I think I learned a lot, which I will touch more upon later on in the interview, of what I've learned growing up with all females. But my mentors, which the majority was all females, they believed in me. And I will never, ever forget that. And that's what I will forever be humble for them believing in me, seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself at one point, including my mother, who always told me that I could be whatever I wanted to be as long as I believed in myself. And that's one value that she taught me that I always take to heart every single day.
Being a young manager, what advice do you have for people training to be in your position, and what advice do you have for people who have been in your position, especially for some years now? You know, is there any fresh perspectives you can add to the position, or just advice for both?
Push the envelope. Being younger, my first managerial experience, I think I was the age of most of my peers, kids, so to speak. Most of the managers, they had kids my age, 21, 20 years old, which didn't sit too well with them, because sometimes they looked at me and looked at what their kids were doing, and were kind of, I think, questioning themselves of what decisions they made, that why are they not doing what he's doing, so to speak. And I, usually I tell them is that, listen, every person's different. There's not one person that's the same. Again, my life experience with me when I was at 15 years old changed the direction of my life forever. So what I will always say is push the envelope. Don't speak up for what you believe in. Don't be afraid. Things that worked 15 years ago no longer relevant now. Things that in this technology world now, what was popular last year is no longer popular now. So being a manager, I think, was something that was honored to do in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I think the era we're going into is more of a leadership role. You have to be a leader now in order to be a successful manager. Being a manager, you're given this position, but that does not mean that people are going to follow you. It does not mean your employees are willing to do what you ask them to do. You have to earn it. You have to earn it. And I think a lot of people take their positions to their head too much. They're given this power position, and they felt that, well, I'm automatically a leader, and you're not automatically. You're wrong. And I think a lot of the people who have been managers for many years take that for granted. I think because they've been in a position for a long time, they've been telling people what to do instead of asking them to do it, makes them a leader. but it doesn't. You know, being new, being young, gives you a better perspective. For me, I think why I was blessed and lucky was, again, growing up with all females. I think I learned a lot more in the sense of respect. In my field now, currently in the healthcare, a majority of it is females. So I manage over 50 females daily, you know, and I'm responsible for over probably 80% of females as seniors. Again, a lot of men don't live long enough as women. So, you know, one of the tips I give is learn to get your hands dirty with your team. You know, you should never ask someone to do something that you can't do for yourself. And I touch about that on my blog, which I started. And the reason why I started my blog was for the simple fact that I think a lot of young people who are becoming managers now at a young age, they're either given a book from their company, they go to training from their company, and they're taught by people who are years older than them. Again, what was relevant years ago are no longer relevant now. People have a voice now more than ever. People could leave a job, or they could, a lot of whistleblowing. I mean, with WikiLeaks, that really turned the tables on a lot of people of doing the wrong things, using your power, abusing your power to making people work for you. Now people are saying enough is enough. I'm gonna bring all this to light, you know, and you have to be more of a leader now in this day and age. So that's what made me realize I had to start something for the people that are my age, but I don't just focus on people my age. I focus on a generation ahead of me, before me, I want to say. People that have been managers for years, 10 years. But they never had someone to tell them, listen, this is how you get connected with people. This is how you do certain things the right way. I mean, to be simple is you do things and say things that you want to be done to you, or you want to be said to you. You know, if you want someone to praise you for the good job you're doing, learn to praise your employees.